Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. It's Jez here from nigeza.blogspot.com, and today we're going to do a little notebook cover with a pen. So plenty of these around, doing post-it note holders, but I decided to go for a notebook cover and pen. And I just want to show you these gorgeous little pens that I managed to find. They've got a little flower end, and I got these from a shop called Trago Mills. So if you live in Devon or Cornwall, that's where Trago is, and Trago's like a big warehouse shop where you get cheapy things, but you might be able to get them or similar things, and you got 6 for 99p, which is amazing value. Okay, and there's lots of different colours in there that will match our Stampin' Up range, which I quite liked. And then the notebook I used is just a little handy jotter from Wilko, and I think that was about 19p. So a really cheap, inexpensive little gift for you know, a teacher thank you, or anything really, or just to use yourself. It's quite cute, and I kind of thought you'd like have this in your handbag. So this one, as you can see, I've done with Berry Burst, and I think one thing that what I did was that I covered the notebook as well. I think if I did it again, I wouldn't bother with that, because that's just like awkward. So I think I would probably just do it without if I did it again. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did this. So start with a piece of cardstock that measures 4 inches by 7 7/8, and we are going to score at 3 3/8, 3 3/4, 4 1/8. Oops, that's in the wrong place. 4 1/8, and then 4 3/8. So that last one is just 1/4 inch, and these are 3/8, and that one is for the height of the notebook. Okay, all measurements will be on my blog, nigeza.blogspot.com, so don't worry about getting them down. So we're just going to fold and burnish all of these school lines. Like so. The reason why they're different shapes, sizes, is that one is for the height of the notebook, so you would adjust that depending on the height of your notebook, and these two take into consideration the height of the pen, and then these sizes here are the size of your notebook, so it is easy to adjust depending on what size notebook you're going to use. Okay, and that one is the height of it. Okay, right, put my scoreboard away now, and then I'm going to bring in my trimmer, because we now need to trim for the pen holder. So the way it's going to work is we're going to cut a slit across 2 of the score line edges, and you're going to cut across the small score line. I was just looking at my rough bit one there, so I don't do it wrong. So across the small one to the one of the wider gaps. Oh, do you know, I'm losing my words. So you're just going to score, cut across these two, and not that one. That one's going to stay intact, and then that's going to give you somewhere to hold the pen. So Stamping trimmer enables you to do that because you can cut in the middle of the cardstock. So 2 inches is halfway down, so we'll go slightly below that. So we're going to go to 1 3/4. You can put it wherever you want. So the arrow will help you line it up across the score lines, and then I'm going to move it to 2 1/4. So it should be in the middle. Okay, and then what's going to happen is these 2 longer bits are going to glue together, but not with that bit that I've just cut. That bit is going to stick out, so you form a pen holder where your pen will then be held nicely in place. And because of the pens that I've used and the measurements I've done, it fits nicely there just below the pen lid. Okay, and then you need to glue those down, making sure that you only put glue on these bits here, so that no glue is on that bit or those bits. So it is just these bits that require the glue. This is take 2 because when I did it the first time, I didn't press record, like an idiot. So we're just going to put glue along that bit there, and on that bit there. And then the 2 longer bits are going to glue together, leaving the shorter section, which is the height of your book. Just give that a burnish. You might prefer to use wet glue for this, gives you a little bit of time and wigglage, and then anything there that's overlapped, the nice thing about Fast Fuse is it will just rub off. I've used other tape pens and they don't, you always get a little bit of a sticky residue, but this one is perfect, and then your pen fits down there really nicely. So let's decorate this. Take the pen out for now. So to decorate, I've cut from Fresh Florals, I've cut a mat which is 3 1/8 by 3 1/4, so that mats nicely in there. And then I'm going to use a piece of freshly woven or fine woven ribbon, soft woven ribbon, and then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I need a scrap of Whisper White, and I'm using this really is a scrap. I'm going to use the Just a Note, which has come from the Better Together, so I'm using the Just a Note sentiment there. And I'm going to stamp it in the middle of this piece. I'm going to cut it out with the Label Me Pretty label punch. Who said Label Me Pretty then? That's the name of the stamp set. So cutting that out, and then I wanted to match up the leaf pattern in the DSP. So I have mounted the leaves from the number of years, and I'm just going to ink up partially this ink pad here, and you can see where I've done it before. So I'm going to get a bit of scrap paper, because I will go over the edge a bit, and I'm just going to ink up in the corner there and just stamp a few leaves around the edge, just to make it a little bit pretty and make it look like it's part of the DSP. Like so, it doesn't need much. And then I'm just going to take my sponge, and I'm just going to sponge around the edges of this. And because I like sponging, I'm going to sponge the edge of the DSP as well, just soften the edges a little bit. There we go. And then I'm just going to attach the ribbon. I'm going to use my grid mat to make sure I do it straight. I'm going to put it across there, I think, and that across there, like so. So with my fast fuse, I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to match it up on the back. And I'll just put a bit of fast fuse there and a bit there, and fold the ribbon round to hold it in place, and then that is stuck on the front. I'm not going to stick it up with dimensionals because I figure it's something that would be in your handbag, and it would maybe get bent if it stuck up too much. So I'm just going to stick that on there like so, and then that'll hold the ribbon down in place on the front. So you can see how it's kind of all merges into the DSP with those leaf stamps. And then I'll just attach this to the front of my notebook cover. I keep not ticking enough because I'm on camera. I mean, let's face it, anybody who can film a video and not press play, capable of anything really, aren't they? Well, press record rather. Okay, and then we'll just line that up, centre it, and stick it on there. And then for the notebook, I have cut a piece of Berry Burst in 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. I scored it at 4, which is the length, and then I just folded it round to bend it over, and then gave it a good crease. Because if you can't, because that is not a 1/4 and not an 1/8, so this was the easiest way of putting it over there. So I'm going to take this off. These were just, I think these were 19p from Wilko, so easy easily affordable, making some nice gifts. Right, before I stick it on the front, I'm going to stick my cover on. So the mat for the front of this is the same as the mat on the front there, so it's 3 1/8 by 3 3/4. You can of course not cover that bit at all and just stick that in as it is if you want. I just thought it was quite pretty to add a cover to it. So I'm just going to, instead of putting a ribbon, I was going to do them exactly the same, but then I thought, oh, let's just do a bit different. So these papers have got sort of nice patterns on the other side, so I thought that was quite a nice effect. So just run a bit of fast views on this using my grid mat. To get it straight. And then I'm going to fold it over rather than cut it off, because I thought that would be better. And then stick it I'm just going to make sure I've got glue on the tab that I folded over. And then I'm going to get stuck to my fingers. Really stuck to my fingers. There we go. So that's that done, and then it's just a matter of running some fast views along the back there, where it's going to get stuck to the back of the pad. So that would be a nice pad on its own, gives it a nice firm cover. And then I'm just going to stick this in there. Lots of fast views, and this is definitely one stop or one go, so you want to make sure you have definitely got it in the right place. There we go. And then the pen goes in there, and that's it. I think that's a nice pretty little present. Give it to a teacher, give it to somebody to write their Christmas lists out for Christmas. My aunt plays cards regularly, and they use it as a school card. They score, so this would be quite nice for them to use for scoring all the scores, and I quite like that. Flower goes with that, and there you go. So the pens do come in other colours, so you can match other colours, but I think that's a nice way to use, present a little notebook, and very, very cheap. Okay, all the measurements and everything will be over on my blog, najeza.blogspot.com, and hope to see you again soon.